we have to start back over because we got a phone call and I totally forgot my train of thought. So,
So,
oops.
circling
My
back,
bad.
I do have one final question for you, and that is, what are some of the biggest struggles and concerns with being married to someone who is an addict?
Yeah, I feel like it's probably very basic, very like cliche. Worry when you're married, dating to love someone who has addictive tendencies is the chance for relapse. That I'm not naive to the fact that there is potential for a relapse, because that many people in recovery, especially long-term recovery, they know that's part of almost a guarantee through the process. Granted, not everybody has to relapse, and I feel like we've gotten to a pretty solid point, like I was saying earlier, where you are either going to pick the hard choice of keep it on, keep recovering, and keep healing yourself, or you can pick the hard path of shattering it all, tearing it all down, and relapsing. So both are equally hard at this point. So I feel like if they're both equally hard, I'm confident enough to say, like, I believe you would choose the path to recovery again and again and again. But of course, that's always something that you fear, you know? I know that this past weekend when I was out of town, you went to a meeting and you even said, you were like, telling them at the meeting, you were like, yeah, this feels so good because this is our first time out of town. This is our first full, like, couple days apart. So I feel like there is trust there in regards to that she thinks that I'm not going to relapse. And not that I was purposely staying in town or making you come out of town with me for the sake of fear of relapsing. Of course, in those first, like, 30 days, yeah, that's the case. Like, we're not going to just let you go back to Minnesota and pack up your house all on your own. We're not going to do that. So, but I do feel like there is that fear. As far as struggles go, I think like I said previously, the biggest struggle for me, whether that's with you, with our friends, whoever, that is in active recovery, it is when the days get hard and there is that conversation of, gosh, I miss said substance and I really wish that I could use right now. It's hard to not internalize that I'm not doing enough to make you or any of our friends or my family want to stay on the path to recovery. Because again, like we said, at the end of the day, it is up to you. It's up to our friends. It's up to whoever that person is in your guys' life. It's up to the person with the addiction or the alcoholism to decide to want that path. So as far as our situation goes, I just have to remind myself, like, I can only do so much. It's not my fault. It's not up to me to maintain you on the path to recovery. But that doesn't mean that, especially because I am such a fixer, that doesn't mean that it's not hard to hear, like, hey, I'm struggling, I'm having a hard day, and then immediately I'm like, well, what can I do? How can I help fix it? What can I do better? So I feel like those are the two hardest pieces. And then, of course, there's always, and I've heard this from many of my friends who are with people who have struggled with addiction, it is the common phrase of, I wish I could have helped you before you got to that point. I wish I could have been there for you when you were first offered said substance so that I could help negate you from wanting to even try it. So I feel like those are probably the bigger prominent things on my end. Yeah, that's
Yeah. And what would you say as far as advices for someone who is in the same situation as you, who has a loved one who is an addict or even an active addiction?
I mean, you have to set very hard, firm boundaries in regards to what you're going to accept, right? As much as we do that in normal relationships, like, hey, cheating is a no-go. We can make it through anything else. That was, of course, one of the things that I set right when we got together. And then I did tell you, I was like, the first relapse, like, Here's the plan. Second relapse, it's a no, dog. And I feel like that doesn't come overnight. That doesn't come with your first relationship or friendship with someone with addiction. And unfortunately, I have been in the loved one seat for many relationships that have alcohol or substance abuse. And so I was already very familiar with what I was going to accept and what I wasn't going to accept when you and I got together. And that's where my boundaries came with, like, yes, I'm not dumb. I'm not naive enough to believe that, one, it's going to be easy, or two, that there isn't a chance for relapse. However, we have rules right now. We have a plan right now. If you were to relapse, okay, I love you. Let's do this new plan. If it were to happen again, I can't continue to put myself in that cycle. So that's the biggest thing, is setting really firm boundaries. Really knowing that as much as you love that person and you are going to try and pour your all into that person and their healing journey and pulling them out of it, you have to still take care of yourself. I don't know another way to phrase it. I don't have a fancier way of saying you have to take care of yourself first. And sometimes the love that person has for you is not more than the love that they have of that substance or the alcohol. And you have to recognize that. Also, do not let them give you no shit. Okay? I don't like when it turns into almost with addiction, they know how to manipulate the situation to be able to go use the drug again. Absolutely. Or a new drug, and how to manipulate you to make you not be mad. Not that you won't be mad, but to understand where they're coming from, to feel like it's justified why they did what they did. And I heavily recommend being aware of that. Being aware of the fact that Slick will always be on their shoulder. They will always have, and not every single day, but that struggle will always be there in regards to, once a bad day happens, your automatic instinct is going to be, I want to go use. It's a matter of how fast you put yourself in check to be like, actually, we're going to go fishing today. Actually, I'm going to write in my journal. How fast you flip your narrative so that you don't sit and stew on the fact that, wow, I really could use drugs today. Wow, I could really drink today. The relapse mentality, how quick we put ourselves in check. That's the biggest takeaway from that, is trust yourself to know that I feel like what you did wasn't okay. And this goes back to the boundaries piece, right? Where you have to stay true to your boundary. If you were like, no, you're not going to go do that. I know when we first got back together, I had said, no cheating. Here's this deal with relapses. And I was like, to put it in perspective, those two kind of go hand in hand, because you have to go behind my back. In her previous experience, her dealer was a female. You have to go behind my back to text a female, go hang out with a female behind my back, and relapse. So kind of had to put that into, they kind of go hand in hand, you know? You may not be cheating on me with a person, but you're cheating on me with a substance, which some people are going to be like, oh my God, that's so dramatic. But that was a good way for me to put it, for her to go, no shit, you know? So I guess those are my pieces of advice, because like I said, Slick's always going to be up on that shoulder, and when times get tough, Slick's going to get real fucking loud. And so make sure that you are being aware of when your partner is like, oh, well, I mean, put it in check. It's never okay for them to lie to you about anything, but specifically when it comes to this topic, when it comes to addiction and alcoholism. The issue, we've talked about this, is it becomes your addict mindset when you feel like you have to hide it and lie about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of those characteristics. That's one of those traits. So, yeah, just take care of yourself. Have some harsh, strong boundaries that you're actually going to stand beside. And just be mindful of the person that they are and their characteristics and their tendencies and those traits. Those are my best pieces of advice. So...
For sure.
I know we just got a notification that our iPad is going to die. It gave us a 10% notification. So we are going to wrap this up. But, I mean, we have a lot that we can talk about because you have personal insight. You have insight from growing up in this lifestyle. And I have just always been a fixer. So I gravitate towards fixing people who need a little bit of help. So if you guys want a part 2, hell yeah, tell us. We'll do a part 2. If this resonates, reach out. We would love to help be your little internet buddies and help guide you or answer any questions that you have. Be nice because this is a vulnerable topic. And we will catch you guys next week for episode 4.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Bye,
Adios.
baddies.